During an airing of the public interest show on the PNCR's Facebook page on Friday, the former president noted that during his government's tenure, it established regional public broadcasting stations around the country for the purpose and intent of information being filtered to and through the right channels in a timely manner in the event of natural disasters, such as the recent countrywide flooding. He surmised that the incumbent administration might have been ignorant of a number of facts, thus the lengthy delay in providing aid, among other things, to the citizenry.
That this was Guyana's worst natural disaster. And you would wonder why something so grave, so serious, took so long to be acknowledged. I can only assume that people were ignorant of the impact of climate change and ignorant about what is taking place around the country.
Granger lamented that it took in excess of 40 days before a declaration was made identifying the flood situation as a level 2 threat. This, he says, was far too long, while he reiterated that the government should have had mechanisms in place to filter that kind of information to it in the shortest possible time.
But it could have been done earlier, or we could even have avoided it if the government had responded to the crisis earlier in May, but it didn't. It waited 4 to 4 days. And the CDC announcement was just a confirmation of the gravity of the flood.
A level 2 threat in terms of disasters indicates that the country is not overwhelmed in terms of its ability to provide aid to those affected, but would require some level of assistance, however, from external sources. The Civil Defense Commission had stated that 5 regions in the country were classified as level 2, while the other 5 were deemed to be level 3 in terms of the damage caused. The former president said that there seemed to be no plan in place as to how the money from the $10 billion fund, which was approved by the National Assembly some 2 weeks ago for flood relief aid, would be utilized.
It did not seem as if a plan had been presented to the National Assembly or been presented to the people of Guyana, and nobody is quite sure how that amount of money will be spent. If it will be spent properly, if it will be spent on acquiring equipment, if it will be spent on food stuff, nobody knows for sure.
Granger reminded that pretty soon the December rains will come, and with that in mind, an exit strategy needs to be developed. He suggested that an all-inclusive strategy is the way to go at this juncture.
Develop an inclusive approach to solving the problem. Everybody's coming up with, with short-term plans, and we need an inclusive. Let us get the best Guyanese brains. Let us see the opposition and the government working together to get out of this disaster.
Just recently, United States Congressman Hank Johnson, via his official website, www.hankjohnson.house.gov, posited that he is monitoring the situation in Guyana while empathizing with those affected by the floods. The congressman noted in his statement that, and I quote, "Guyana's wealth is for all the people of Guyana, irrespective of their ethnicity," end quote. Several reports had surfaced that flood relief was being doled out to selective communities and households across the country. Reporting for the HGB Nightly News, Wendell Badrie.